Evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. I got home for 8:30. I'm so fucking impressed with myself right now, considering I've just driven to Manchester and back, and I'm home at 8:30. I'm fucking impressed with myself. So, Premier Battles Undisclosed 13 is now in the books. A card that was fraught with a few changes in logistics, it would seem. But the vibe of the event didn't suffer for it. I got there just about 11:45 in the afternoon, morning. Got there early-ish, and when I got there, Raptor was doing his rounds with Gas Buff. You had 9-2 upstairs, shooting some pool, and then Stro and Rick Charles rocked up to assess the rooms. And from the jump there, I love the energy of 9-2 and Rick Charles. And the event itself, again, had to go through a reshuffle of sorts. But honestly, you wouldn't have known because everyone had a lot of fun at the event. But what I want to kick off with is what I've very sneakily titled in the top of this video, which is that I did have a conversation with Shotty Horror. Now, I am not going to disclose the contents of that conversation. Suffice it to say, I'm actually really glad. I was hesitant, I'll be brutally honest with you. I didn't know whether or not I was just going to antagonize him by being in his business when he doesn't want anyone talking to him. Least of all, someone I know he doesn't have a particularly good opinion of. Talked for about 10 minutes. I felt it was largely productive. So he didn't promise anything and he didn't say anything beyond what he wanted to say. I tried to articulate myself in a moment, but I didn't want to keep him. I said a couple of times, look, I just wanted to say this and this. Long story short, I'll share with you what I said. I said, I'm sorry for being a dick on the timeline. I know I can be a twat on the timeline from time to time. And do you know what? For that, I'm sorry. And secondly, thanks for basically building Premier Battles and giving a platform to a lot of the guys who I think are super talented. And that's what I really wanted to say. And I'm glad I got the chance to say it to his face and look him in the eye when I said it. And I'm glad that he had an opportunity to just talk. I didn't really make a point of interrupting him or try to interject or disagree with some of the stuff he said. But it was good. I felt that it was largely productive. So if nothing else today, it was good to be able to have a conversation with Shotty Horror. That being said, Raptor, I will say what Raptor did afterwards. Raptor came up and was sort of debating whether or not to be on the show, and then Shotty kind of jokingly, jestingly said, do you know what? I will do his show to call him a hater to his face live. I was like, no, don't say that, because I'll take that. I'll take that as an invite. But it's fine. Like, it's just nice to be able to look people in the eye and say to them, you know what I mean? So that was good. That was for 10 minutes. It took me an hour and a half to pluck up the courage to fucking do it, of course. But, I'm a giant girl when it comes to this sort of stuff. That notwithstanding, I got to meet 6'2" Mike. For those who don't know, he is a gentleman that's affiliated with Mr. 92. Also a streamer. So if you want to chuck your handle in there, Mike, go and check him out. Go and have a look at his content. He does retro gaming streams, and I need to go and check that out at some point. But as far as my day went, I was so happy to meet Dub T. I've been chatting to him on and off for the best part of a year and a half. It was great to meet Blizzard. Again, been chatting to him on and off for the best part of a year and a half. So it was nice to finally be able to shake both their hands and meet him in person, chop it up with them a tiny bit. Not as much as I would have liked, but never mind. People at the event. So Reverse was there. Kingsley was there, obviously, because he was on the card. Grazza was there, albeit his battle fell through because of Danny Jack cancelling. Sam Hypes had to cancel on Dub T as well, which is kind of a shame. It is what it is. From what I'm given to understand, Sam Hypes had a pretty significant personal issue, so no one's mad about it. It's just one of those things where I know Dub, just to share you with a bit of BT Dubs, I got a phone call from Dub while I was heading up. I was 10 minutes outside of Manchester, and he goes, where are you? And I'm like, why? And he goes, the battle's been cancelled, and I don't want to be on the train, like, doing nothing. Like, I was wondering if you can, like, swing by Coventry if you're nearby. I'm like, dude, I'm like so close. I'll tell you what then, so I can stop waffling. Just long story short, it was a great event. Plenty of people there. And listen, if this isn't an advertisement to go and get a next ticket to a next event, or just go to Short Circuit. Short Circuit is still happening in December. Go and support some of the up-and-comers, some of the less prolific profile battlers. Have fun at the event, man. But TMR is provoking, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's go to the second screen and let's talk about the card, shall we? There was talk during the course of the day that 9-2 and Rick Charles were going to be moved to co-main. And the talk was genuine. I thought that was fucking hilarious. It was great, and people had fun with it. To answer your question, TMR, who won 9-2 or Rick? The fans. The fans had everyone on stage, everyone in the crowd had a blast. I think the only two people who weren't having fun per se were Rick and 9-2, who were in the midst of this whirlpool of banter that they were trying to just keep moving in a direction. 9-2 came with the harder stuff. Rick came with the jokey, nonchalant stuff, as you might expect. Yeah. As far as it being a draw, it was kind of someone, I don't know who it was. Someone threw it out there, because they let the crowd react. So they did it was a one rounder each. And at the end, TMR, it wasn't judged. No, it wasn't judged. It was judged by the crowd. The crowd, they said, right, who do you think won? Everyone make some noise for 9-2. Everyone make some noise for Rick Charles. And then someone afterwards yelled out, "Oh no, it's a 0-0 then." And that was hilarious. That was just because they were just all having fun, man. Yeah. 62 Mike makes the point. 9-2 came with the bars, and I felt like had the stronger material and was more eloquent with his flow. But because Rick has the crowd, he has the management there. He's got the crowd. It's one of those things. Okay. That's Mike's going to take credit for that. But yeah, someone yelled out, "It's 0-0." That's so funny, man. I loved it. If it was Mike, that's one of the funniest bits of heckling for the whole battle. But I thought both guys rode the wave real well. I thought 9-2 had a lot of fun with it. He had his head of marketing t-shirt on, which made the guys at the front pop. Shotty seemed to really enjoy it. I was keeping an eye on him throughout the course of the battles for some of the younger ones, or the up-and-comers, and now he thoroughly enjoyed that battle. So did 9-2 stock go up? I think very much that Premier Battles now have a couple of ideas for 9-2. He was kind of an unknown coming into this and kind of not as well thought of as other battlers. Now he's got a gimmick. He's got something he can work with in terms of he's prolific when he promotes. So, listen, Rick ain't doing another battle anytime soon. I know that 9-2 was thinking about calling out Dub T or Caveman, so he's got options. But I also understand from talking to him that he's considering doing the Academy as well. So he's got options at this point. And Rick seemed to have fun towards the end of it and then got right back into his spiel as the photographer afterwards. So he seemed to take it in good stride too. So listen, man, I'm going to call it a draw because I thought both guys got what they needed out of the battle. But the fans won, man. The fans had a lot of fun during it. And I think 9-2 got a lot of advice from experience. People think he's grown up for it. Not necessarily stock going up, but it's a learning thing. No, I disagree. I'd say stock going up with the promotion because they now know what they've got on their hands and they know what they can do with him. Like what are his tendencies, what's his style, what can they do with him. But yeah, the fans won. So yeah, 9-2 Rick Charles 0-0. Cheeky bastard. And apparently now 9-2 versus Rick Charles might be voted Battle of the Year with 9-2. 9-2 getting the nod for Battler of the Year. Who knows? We'll see. And yeah, we'll see what the promo does, TMR. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. TMR and everybody else watching this, I'm going to be streaming every single week from now on. Tuesdays and Thursdays, every single week without fail. I'm going to try and preview events. Okay, I'm going to get the calendar for next year for both Don't Flop and for Premier Battles and for No Loose Chat. If members want to do the thing, obviously if the Gulag becomes an annual thing. Listen, man, I'd love to start previewing cards and promoting the battlers on the upcoming events. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So we do need more of that, but we need it in the way that it's visible and fun. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So let's move on. Hamill versus Jim Bob Gnarly. Now, this was kind of a palate cleanser of sorts in the sense of both of those guys came with fucking venom. Like, they're just fucking spitting some fucking animosity, ladies and gentlemen. And if only because Jim Bob had a slight... I feel like it was in the first or second round. I feel like it was in the first round. He had a moment. He recovered, but it's one of those things where Hamill was making a massive deal about it in the bars. Like something... I forget exactly. How does Shrooms is in the building? Good evening. But yeah, he was making a big deal about memorizing bars. And the thing you never want in a situation like that is to stumble. Like, it's not great. However, I'd argue he gave as good as he got, but ultimately I gave that one to Hamill because I felt Hamill had the cleaner material, perhaps stronger on certain elements, was much more... yeah. I mean, Hamill did certainly have... You will notice this on the footage when you watch this back. The entourage has played a bit of a part on this event. Speaking off of this one, I know Hamill had a bit of an entourage behind him. Kingsley had a bit of an entourage behind him. Bobby definitely had a bit of an entourage behind him. I was a bit further away during the Raptor Sean Cray battle, but then again, Sean Cray can fucking handle a crowd. I don't worry about him needing necessarily. But they were quite big on the stage this time. So just so you can get a picture, like the room was sort of angular this way, like you walk in and the room's that way, and it's quite flat, quite linear, right? And the stage is only a step. It's like maybe not even a foot, right? But it's just enough to give a bit of elevation to be able to clear heads of... I don't have any problem with tall people in this battle. Usually at battle rap events, I'm stood behind fucking someone who's 7 foot tall wearing a wide ass hoodie, so I can't see a fucking thing. This time, could see everything reasonably clearly, except for Raptor, because Raptor's quite short. He's on the shorter side of things, albeit apparently is as tall as me. So I wonder what the fuck that makes me. But no problems with that, albeit he was blocked for quite a lot of the battle. Also, they got sucked to the room when Jim Bob did Hillsborough. Yeah, but here's the thing. I will say that when Jim Bob and Hamill were going at it, they were going at it with some venom. Like I say, it's a bit of a palate cleanser from the fun aspect of 9-2 and Rick Charles. Kind of a much more serious, verbosely aggressive battle. And when you get that, you're going to get some stuff that's on the knuckle. I mean, it's battle rap. Again, I feel like it's always in the room that you judge a battle. If you watch it again on the video, yeah, you can analyze it, you can scrutinize it, but in the room is where you've got to feel the energy of a bar. If it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I think that I feel like both guys gave pretty good, but I gave it to Hamill. Bear with me. How weird. I had a knock on the door. It turns out it wasn't. It was someone 2 doors down. How weird. Anyways. Yeah, so I ended up giving this one to Hamill because I felt like I say, cleaner rounds, more of a boss. Punches seemed to hit a little bit more frequently, had more of the eloquent stride. But having talked to Jim Bob after the battle, he had a lot of fun doing it. And I'm quite eager to have Jim Bob on now because he's got a very laid back, chill way of looking at battle rap, and I'd love to sort of chop it up with him at some point. 62 Mike says the layout was better last time, not on stage but on the right side of the room. Some of the fans on the stage said so. That's an interesting one. I mean, sometimes it's okay to get the fans elevated, but I feel like in the room is where you should favor the battles. I know that you've got to film it, and in posterity it's the film that sort of lasts. But the fans are the ones that paid the money for the ticket, so their experience should be taken into consideration. And I feel like on a stage, there is more of a chance of being able to see stuff because then the battlers are elevated. Whereas if you have them in the pit, which I grant you, by the way, the name of they should have been in the pit based on the name, it does mean that short people like me kind of miss out. So, but on this occasion, like I say, I'm going to say I gave it to Hamill on that one. Sam Hypes versus Dub T didn't happen. Dub T was at the event, and it was cracking to meet the young man. I did ask him what he was thinking about doing next, doing my journalistic duties to make sure I'm bringing you the latest and greatest in battle rap information, and he said that doesn't know. He's going to have to take some time to think about it. He was disappointed that he didn't get to perform today. He had to travel a fair way, so to travel all the way to Manchester and then not get the opportunity to perform. The only other person I've encountered who had that happen to him was Lazy, and he had that same sort of look where it's kind of release and relief that you don't have to perform, but at the same time it's a lot of work down the drain that probably you'll never get to use because the opponent might move on, you might move on and never get to use it. So I felt for Dub on that one. And then the same for Danny Jack and Grazza. I understand Danny Jack dropped out a couple of days ago. I don't really know the reasons why, neither do I really care. It is what it is. It's not great for Grazza. Grazza was there though, and he made the effort to turn up, and I'm sure he's disappointed in not being able to battle on the card. And then we move up. So this is where it gets a bit weird because, and I don't know whether I'll leave it to people. Do you want me to preview the card as it happened, or do you want me to preview the card as it is on the card? Because what happened next, in fact, I might be lying to you. No, actually, no. What's happening? And then, because what happened next was Raptor faced off against Sean Cray. Then it was Kingsley Thunder versus Carlton Shanks, and then it was Bobby Rex versus Gas Buff. So I don't know. Should we do it in order, or should we do it on the basis of the card? I'm going to give it a second because I know you guys are a little bit further behind me, but like, what do we think? What do we think? Leave me your comments. What should we do? What should we do next? What do we think? I wonder if I can reduce the latency now. Hang on. Oh, I can't now that the stream started. Never mind. Anyways, what do we think? Should I do it in order, or should I do it in? What do we think? Hopefully you guys are caught up with me in a second. I think I muted this. I shouldn't have it on. Got a chance to meet Blizz. Pinged him just to say, dude, so good to meet you. Pleasure was all mine. I need to buy that boy a coffee the next time. Okay, Hadda Streams has called it. The order it happened. All right. In that case then, against the way the card got booked, it was then Raptor versus Sean Cray. This was an interesting battle. Raptor came with a ton of energy, polished performance. So did Sean Cray. And this was a pick your poison kind of battle because I thought both guys got sick reactions, had some decent material, decent backwards and forwards. If you like that sort of bar for bar element of battle rap, Raptor is what you would pick in this situation. If you're a fan of Sean Cray, it's a quintessential Sean Cray performance. He made it that I'm a geezer sort of thing. So, like, he was... What was it? He was, I bet your local's a green king and stuff like that. When it's like, oh, burn. Like, but in the framework of a geezer, like, it's like, I don't know, like, my local, what's my local? My local is actually not a branded one. It's one of those sort of old school, like the golden hen or some shit. I can't remember. But like, Raptor wanted to make it like, Raptor's concepts were all circled around this idea of Sean Cray isn't a battler and therefore is not qualified to win. And then let's have a look. Kingsley versus yes. He's so 62 Mike has put it in the order it actually happened. But Raptor was making it more about the fact that he shouldn't even be on the stage with Raptor basically because Sean Cray is just a person that, what has he said, rhymes funny words together or something to that effect. And Sean Cray's was classic. He's not even a real geezer. He's small. He doesn't even have a beer gut. He's a City fan. I do remember though there was a bar where it was Kulusevski. Like he had a lot of football bars and a football oriented scheme, which I like and I dislike. it was played out a long time ago, but it feeds into Sean Craig's gimmick of geezer, so I'll allow it. It's a tricky one. I think on balance, I give it to Raptor, because Raptor's stuff was... Raptor did a better job of deconstructing Sean Cray as a battler and as a character. His stuff didn't get quite the reactions of Sean Cray. Sean Cray is masterful at getting... It's a bit like the Frankie Fraser situation, where Frankie maybe didn't get as prolific a reaction as Sean Cray did, and as consistently as Sean Cray did, which you might argue is the point of battle rap. But I would also argue that the lyricism of a thing, breaking down an opponent and actually being vitriolic towards your opponent is also a factor of battle rap. It's inherently supposed to be a little mean-spirited. And in that sense, Raptor really gave as good as he got. But yeah, this is the thing. And 6-2 might seems to be along the same lines. Yeah, and so like, Raptor's last round was basically him not mimicking, but it was deconstructing his catchphrase. Like, all the greats will do that. If you get a catchphrase, sooner or later it's going to be scrutinized. The earliest example I can remember of someone doing that it wasn't a particularly early example, it's just the first one that pops into my head, is Shuffle and Marlowe when they used Shotties. It says, some said this was a shit matchup. Not us though. Yeah, but that's what our talk was about. And it was clever, and it was a takeoff, right? And then you had them again, Theo Marlowe and Shuffle T do it again against Scapegoats, when it's like, you can't spell scapegoats without putting the goats in it. And they spent almost 3 rounds doing that, and it worked. So from that perspective, I get why Raptor went down that route. And yeah, maybe there wasn't quite the payoff that you were expecting, because you knew it was coming. I think the difference is that Shuffle T and Marlowe keep theirs either very succinct or they repeat. You know what I mean? It's like a pattern, like a poem of sort, like it comes back to the same rhyme, and so therefore the same comedic style. Whereas Raptor took a minute or so to get to the punch. It was all about this thing about his neighbor had been burgled and glass everywhere and all the rest of it. Call the police. No, I'm not calling the police. Call an ambulance instead. And that's the punchline, right? And then both of them though ended on the same takeoff, which is something like he's here for the poppers, I'm here for the strippers, or whatever it was. So it was kind of a nice unilateral movement towards the end of both guys. Again, picking a winner is difficult. I'd give it to Raptor because, again, I do appreciate that while Sean got the bigger reactions, his stuff against Raptor wasn't specific to Raptor. Like, except for a couple of references to how small he was. And I do take originality and the specificity of concepts into consideration when considering a battle. Because I feel like you shouldn't be able to just lift everything that you say about a battler and just transplant it onto someone else, because you're effectively then just writing jokes. That's fine, as long as they're original. And again, not to say that Sean Cray wasn't entertaining as fuck, I just felt like Raptor was more original, more cutting. Both guys gave almost flawless performances as well, and that's something to be really proud of on both of their parts. And I feel like both of them really engaged the room and entertained the room. But if I gun to my head, I'll give it to Raptor. So not to say that Sean, that's 2 battles in a row that I haven't given to Sean despite having fucking amazing performances. He's not going to be very happy with me as it stands right now. However, again, on balance, I give it to Raptor. And then, like I say, there was a bit of a I don't know what you call it, being a bit of a break. That's when I had my conversation with Shotty, because the room kind of cleared. It was kind of weird, like almost no one on the stage. It was just me and Shotty. It felt like the entire room emptied. I'm not saying because of that. I'm just saying though, I maybe would have been less uncomfortable for me to be because I was looking up and it was he was still on the stage, I was stood. I didn't feel the need to stand on the stage at the entire event. Like, it's weird. I know everyone wants to get on stage, but my feeling on that is that's the battler space. Like, it's that's their space. They should be allowed to fucking move around on it without worrying about fans wandering on and bothering them. So it was that thing of like, it was weird. It was like a foot and a half taller than me because of the fucking stage. But then finished our conversation. Room re-enters, and I'd made my way to the front now, right? So the last 2 battles of the day, I'm going to be on camera for both of those bitches. So I'm looking forward to seeing my big stupid face on Premier Battles when it drops. Unless they put like a giant fucking, you know, the pixelated fucking thing over my face just to make sure that I'm not on the camera. You never know. I wouldn't blame them. I'm ugly as fuck. But we move on to Kingsley Thunder versus Carlton Shanks. Now, Carlton is a guy who had only just reacted to a battle of his for the first time the other day. And vicious bastard. Vicious battler. Wasn't anticipating that. I don't know what I was anticipating, but I just really wasn't anticipating him being so fucking vicious, right? Do you know what? This is the thing, right? How to Shrooms, before I get into it, right? How to Shrooms. This is the thing. This is why the 9-2 Rick Charles thing was great. I won't hear a thing about it in terms of like, oh, the quality and people not taking it seriously. People had fucking fun with it. 9-2 was having a blast. Even Rick, now that it's done, will probably admit in a year's time that actually it was kind of fun to be in the whirlwind of the banter circle that was that fucking, that whirlwind of banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, it probably wasn't fun during, but in retrospect, it will be a lot of fun. And 9-2 and Rick, it was just a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like, and what I'm trying to say with that is, when the scene is just concentrating on having fun rather than gatekeeping or beefing or sniping or any of that stupid shit, Battle Rap's great. Kojay's promo trailer for that battle was legitimately amazing. Like, legitimately the kind of thing that I could see selling a fucking casual fan on buying a ticket to see what the fuck was going to happen, right? Gast Buff went on a promo tear leading up to Bobby and produced some of the best promos that I've ever seen, period. Like, just so ridiculously funny that it's impossible not to have fun with it. And when battlers have that mindset on, it's impossible not to love battle rap and the people in it, because it's just so much fun. It's the best. And so my thing about this is, and hopefully I can help contribute to this, is, listen, man, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun covering battle rap now. And if Premier Battles want to have some fun at my expense, do you know what? As long as it's funny, that's my rule. They did a podcast on me at one point. I didn't think that was particularly funny. So, yeah, I had a kind of a problem with it. If they want to pixelate my stupid face during the battle because I'm now persona, like in there, my gimmick now is like, oh, yeah, he's not. Yeah, that's fine. Because it's funny. It'd be kind of funny for the first person ever to be pixelated in a battle. And it's me. Like, that's fucking hysterical. But, you know, I don't expect them to do that. I managed to catch up with Briggsy and Stro as well. Stro, I'm always cool with. Stro is a fucking gentleman. If you are at a battle rap event, especially when he's promoting, and you do not make a point of going up to Stro, shaking his hand, thanking him for putting on the event and the care and the due diligence he puts into a battle rap event, there's something wrong with you. You should fucking go make a point of saying, Stro, you're a gentleman, I appreciate it, because he's a fucking diamond. Briggsy I was able to catch up with, albeit very, very briefly. Said broadly the same thing to him as I said to Shotty. The only thing I wanted to say to Briggsy is, because I know he has the occasional health issue because he's had trouble with his lungs. I seem to remember, I can't remember off the top of my head. I just said, keep well, you know what I mean? Just take good care of yourself, take good care of that family. Same with Stro. And it's that thing of just trying to, you know, cultivate those personal relationships that I had at one point. Hopefully I can repair, but we'll see. I'm more interested, though, at the moment in just fucking having some fun. Having some of the battlers off the card as well. Like, Jim Bob and Hamill are two that I'm now going to be working on. Hamill's just got some really awkward working hours, and I've got to figure out when I can get him on there. Jim Bob said he'd do it, but not straight away, because he wants a bit of breathing space to fucking figure out what he wants to do next. Carlton would be one I'd be looking to try and get on the show. I haven't had any direct contact with him, albeit on the timeline, but that would be one to get on. 9-2 and Rick Charles we've done, although I imagine 9-2's not done on his promo run for the next time, so you can be sure that he'll get a spot back. And then Bobby, Bobby actually is one I'm still looking to get on at some point, and Raptor is another one. Raptor did I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me because I still haven't watched them back. There was I tried to get the live streams working while I was on site, and unfortunately, the best I could do was that shitty ass fucking pad camera, and the microphone probably sucked. So you're gonna have to tell me if they were actually any good. I doubt they were. That's why I was keen to get home to be able to do a proper live stream to kind of wrap things up. But yeah, next time I'll have a stand. I'll have a fucking, fucking, what's it called? I forget. But a thing for my goddamn camera so that I can position it correctly, and I'll have a mic. I did have a lapel mic with me, but having tested it, I figured it was just going to cause more problems than it would solve. So, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back to the card, shall we? Because after this, the room cleared and I had an opportunity to chat with Shotty. Sorry, I just thought I'd mention that again. Kingsley Thunder versus Carlton Shanks. And again, Carlton Shanks is a lot more visceral than I imagined when I first saw his battle. And then I saw his battle, I'm like, God damn, he comes to fuck people up. And Kingsley. And I know Kingsley is still in the process of trying to find that balance between comedy and then hitting with bars. Carlton, I think, didn't get this one partially because Kingsley is able to really... His comedy is stronger than Carlton's veracity. Carlton also had a moment. He managed to recover, but he had a moment where he kind of lost it a little bit. And again, I've got to count that against the guy. However, there was so much of Carlton's battle. I was just, that is fucking vicious. That is nasty. Because it's just so fucking visceral and fucking venom soaked, you know what I mean? And then he flipped to Kingsley. One of Kingsley's angles was he used to sell stuff in the playground. And if he sold one kid a toffee crisp for 50p and Carlton asked, it would be £1.30. And then if he argued, the price has gone up. By the time I'm done with him, he's paid me a £5. Just so dumb. But great. Like, again, Kingsley... If Kingsley can... not steer into it, but really embrace this persona that he's cultivating as someone that is genuinely funny and has great comedic timing, he can really build something special. Carlton came back, like he was playing off of this this angle where Kingsley had moved around a lot and he was applying to trying to be Jamaican. He said, as a battler, I don't know how I feel about that. And like just... he had his own Levitas moments, but it was, again, another one of those great back and forth type battles that you just think, ooh, every round that ends, you feel like, now I think Kingsley should win. Now I think Carlton should win. Now I think Kingsley. And it's that great, you want to give the next guy sort of a route. Like, I was at the front, and every time it's like, right, come on, Kingsley. And then Kingsley would finish and absolutely kill it. And you go, okay. Right, come on, Carlton. Come on, let's go. Both guys gave it great, but I give it to Kingsley just because, again, slightly cleaner performance. I think he had a minor stumble. I want to say maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Carlton definitely did, because it was a bit of a moment where it was like, oh, come on. And he managed to tough it out. But even that notwithstanding, I really do feel like Kingsley's comedy trumps Carlton's veracity. So... And again, really intricate, really quite delicate with his rhymes when he wants to be, but it's that sort of irreverent, nonchalant, Liverpudlian drawl that really sells a lot of his comedy as well. He's a clever little bastard, and he's got I love the placement of the card for him. I really think he did a good job. And then we had effectively the main event because it went on last, and I'm not being funny. Like, I've had a habit of getting what I wanted this year from battle rap events. Like, I'm not being funny. I got the title versus title match that I've been banging on about since I started covering battle rap. And I got to see Bobby versus Gas Buff. Two guys who I have infinite amounts of respect for. And they effectively headlined because they were the last battle of the show. And this was... And Gas came in, basically. Gas kicked us off. And Gas came in with that Shuffle T-esque, people have been writing me off. They said I should, what was it? I need to prepare 3 of my best rounds and a will. Like, great. Just, and attacks it from there. And did a fucking brilliant job of it, man. Bobby claps back with a lot of schemes of his own that I thought were really clever. Gassed, and then opens the second round with something to the effect of, well, I guess we're really not friends then. Great. Bobby then does that in his second, like, oh, I guess we're really not friends now. Like, both guys were having fun with the premise of the situation, which is that Gast is this helpless, meek, sort of nerdy style, younger battler. And Bobby's this fucking absolute animal coming in here to play with his food for a little bit. And I think, I'm not saying he did this on purpose. I'm pretty sure that, so Gast said something to the effect of poking the bear or something like that. And I'm like, that's literally what I said he's doing. Like, I don't know if that's a reference. I don't think it's a reference. I think it's just cute that I feel like I was referenced in a Gas Buff battle. There's just something about that really tickles me. Especially against Bobby Rex, who I'm, again, a massive fan on. Here's the thing with this battle. And I'm not going to end it on a down. I'm just going to mention it now and get it out of the way. Bobby had a pretty seismic crash in the third round where he was on a bit of a tear, did fine, but then just hit a wall and then freestyled the last bit. But I actually really loved the freestyle. I loved the freestyle. I can't wait for you guys to see it if they leave it in. But the freestyle of it was great. I actually really loved it because it was one of those things where, like, everyone felt a little down for a second. Oh man, Bobby, like, they just wanted him to fucking kill it. And then he did the freestyle and suddenly everyone was like, that's great. That's fucking brilliant. I don't know how everyone else feels. I think I give that battle to Gast Buff. I feel like the choke has to have an impact, okay? Which then leaves the other two rounds. Bobby had some great moments, and it was a lovely moment. He had his, I believe it's his daughter, holding the belt, and he tees it up, right? That even his daughter could beat him up, and she hands the belt over and cuts in with a bar, and the fucking room lifts, man. It was great, and I bet you Bobby was proud as punch. I bet he fucking loved that moment. So, as much as I lament the fact that he wasn't able to stick the performance that I know he wanted, because I was trying to get a hold of Bobby afterwards to say, hey, listen, if you want to come on the show, open invite. I think he was a little bit, well, two things. Either he was annoyed at me because I'm just pestering him for the interview in his eyes, in which case, sorry, Bobby, don't mean to. I just really, really want to have you on. Or, more likely, because it's not all about me, he was annoyed that he didn't stick his landing. Because here's the thing, I see that with other battlers. I think it was Jim Bob as well, actually, who was just a bit like, yeah, just didn't fucking nail it the way I wanted to fucking nail it. I think 9-2 had a bit of that too. He was a bit like, I didn't quite get the reaction I wanted, didn't quite get the jazz that I wanted. And here's the thing, man, sometimes you don't stick the landing. It happens, man. I start these shows sometimes and I go like, it's going to be this, and it just goes, fuck. But then other times you do. Other times you do a triple back somersault and land on both feet and fucking pirouette, and it's the greatest thing in the world. However, on this occasion, I feel like Gas Buff did enough to get the win. And I'm so proud of Gas for that. He has worked his fucking nuts off this year and just been on a tear with everything that he's done. He's put 100,000 fucking % effort into everything. And to end what is the last main card of Prem's year in what effectively amounted to the main event, because it went on last, against Bobby Rex, the newly crowned Continental Champion, and win, in my mind, so fucking proud of Gast. But then again, Bobby Rex gave another great performance. That's now 3 times I've seen Bobby Rex live. He's the battler I've seen most live, and yet to give me what I consider a bad performance. Every single time he turns up, he has a laugh, he blows it out of the water, and he does a good job, man. So listen, in no particular order, we'll go back through the card quickly to sum up, and then I want to hear from everybody else. I want to hear from people that weren't at the event. What questions do you have? What you're curious about? People at the event, what are some of your stories, anecdotes? What are your takeaways? What did you enjoy? So while I'm reading through that, please leave your thoughts in the comments section so I can read them and spout them to the world. So 9-2 versus Rick Charles was a draw, 0-0. Hamill versus Jib Bob Gnarly, I gave 2-1 to Hamill. Sam Hypes versus WT didn't happen. Danny Jack versus Grazza didn't happen. Kingsley Thunder versus Carlton Shanks, I gave to Kingsley, again 2-1 based on the comedy and the veracity. Bobby Rex versus Gas Buff, I gave that one 2-1 to Gas Buff. And then finally Raptor Warhurst versus Sean Cray, 2-1 to Raptor Warhurst. And that was Undisclosed 13. I'm given to understand that because of the filming of the pit, some of that footage might be used in that short film. Again, I'm pretty sure none of the footage of me is going to be in it. So, if I am, Mum, I made it on a battle rap video. I made it. See, Tony, that's a Tony D quote, by the way. And Tony D doesn't get how often I quote him in real life. I quote him all the fucking time. And he tweeted me the other day saying, bro, I don't even quote myself that much. And I just had to remind him, dude, you've said so much more fucking iconic shit than I ever will. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. As far as the rest of the day, like, again, I'm not being funny, but part of the battle rap events for me now are catching up with people that I never see in real life because no one lives in the Midlands. Y'all all live in London, or you live in Manchester, or you live in Liverpool, or Preston or Leeds. Nowhere else. There's just there isn't a battle rapper from fucking Kettering that I can ring up and say, do you fancy going for a pint? So, it sucks really, but when you go to a battle rap event, man, it's just great to see people who you interact with all the time, who have a passion for the same thing you're passionate about, and just have fun. Like, it's just so good. Again, meeting 6'2" Mike, because he was part of the reason that promo with 6'2" and Rick Charles blew up so much, because he was angling, he was adding some comments in there. That was good. Who else? Oh, Ryan, UK Battle Rap's biggest fan. He was there. God bless him. I was like, do you want to hop on the live stream with me while I report live? And absolutely not. He said he's happy. He's happy being an observer, and fair play to him. Let's think. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. So like I say, Blizz was there. Dub T was there. Reverse was there. It was great to see Reverse. Haven't seen Reverse since Checkpoint 5. I'm hoping he makes a return soon, and I hope if he does make a return, I can get on that and get him to come talk about it, because he's too fucking talented to sit on the shelf for much longer, but, you know, we'll see. Raptor interrupted one of my streams and said he'll be on, so I will try my best to see if I can get Raptor on the show, because I've never actually interviewed him before. He was penciled in at one point, but I'll see if I can get him over the line. Caveman was there, was able to get a hold of Caveman very, very quickly and say, listen, you know, I've judged you 2 battles now, and on both occasions I gave the win to the other guy, so I suppose you better hop on my channel and call me a hater to my face. And he seemed quite quite happy to do that. Here's the thing, man, that's the tough thing about battle rap. It is ultimately a competition, and you got to pick winners and losers. It doesn't mean that they can't give good performances, and that's why I feel like it's important to contextualize why you pick who you pick. Not just because I like the guy. Sometimes you pick guys who you're like, I'm not sure about this person on the old timeline. But when they fucking hit record and they start performing their battles, man, they're imperious. And you got to just give it to them that they're entertaining fuckers. So, not that I'm saying Caveman's that. I actually don't know tons about Caveman. I followed him on Twitter for a little while now. And reacted to a couple of his battles, and he's got some talent. He's got a lot of potential to him. I'm really excited to see what it is. But the main takeaway I got from the event was Ghast, man. Just so happy for Ghast. Like, he stuck the landing of that performance absolutely magnificently. He's had a great year. I look forward to what he could do next year. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Obviously, 6'2" Mike was there, so you know, what were your thoughts on the event? And yeah, everybody else, like, do you have any questions? Like, what was the room shaker of room shakers? Yeah, what are your questions? Let me know what your thoughts are. There's currently 7 of you watching, so any questions from the event? Because I'll be honest with you, all I plan on doing after this is I'm gonna go cook some fucking food. I've literally not eaten all day. I woke up here at 8:06. That's a full 36 minutes later than I was planning to leave the house. So it was like, shit, I ain't got time for nothing this morning. So I had to fucking grab my bag. I pre-packed my bag at least, so that was fine. Had all my shit on charge, so I just took it off charge, chucked it in the bag, ran to the car, pre-bought my provisions. I had some Red Bulls, and I had some Werther's Originals. I won't hear a word against either one of those things. They are essential for car travel, okay? I had a cup of coffee at the event as well. I will share with you. I had a cup of coffee. Fucking dreg coffee, but it was a coffee nonetheless. But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. The event wrapped up pretty quick as well. I think the event was supposed to run till 6. I managed to get out of the building at 5. So from 12 till 5 on this occasion. Oh, right. You're right. Sorry, Ryan makes an excellent point. Joy. Right. Hang on. Let me check. Yeah, I promise you, How to Shrooms, the Patreon on this occasion is well worth. If you don't have the Patreon right now, then now would be a great time to go and fucking look at that, because when this event drops, a lot of that stuff is going to be great fun. And again, I get waiting for it on YouTube, I get it, but don't. Put your hand in your pocket. It's fucking £10 for the max. That's the most expensive version, right? Every fucking streaming service in the world is more expensive than that. And do they need your fucking money? Do they? The Disney need fucking billions more? No. However, 25,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel for Premier Battles right now. If even fucking 10% of them subscribe to the Patreon at £10, that's 25 grand a month. 25 grand that they can use to fucking fund battles and events. Like, come on. Do the right thing. Go and subscribe. I'm subscribed to the Patreon. I'm subscribed to the minimum tier. I will admit that. I'm on the £3.50 tier right now. I plan on bumping it up now that I've got a job, because that was my thing at the beginning of last month. I didn't fucking have a job. Still subscribed to the Patreon. I'm trying to help out here and bought my ticket. So go get the Patreon. But yes, so Ryan asks, did you lock in the interview with Joy? Joy France was at the event. You may have heard of her before. She is the battle rapper who is famed for being sort of the older lady of battle rap. At 61, she made her debut, earning the title as the world's oldest battle rapper. And what a lovely lady. She was really, really kind and really, really sweet. She's everything you would expect in real life, only again she's a battle rapper and she's the only one of her kind. So I had a conversation with her very, very briefly and said, listen, I have a very tiny YouTube channel, but I focus on battle rap on occasion. Is there any danger of getting you on? And she said yes. She's on Instagram, so I'll add her today. I'll message her, and yeah, we'll see if we can get that set up. But Ryan, what a memory. Ryan is the unsung hero of battle rap sometimes. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for being the fan that he is, because he's a diamond too. If you're not following Ryan on Twitter or now on Blue Sky, you need to go do that. I will just say one thing, by the way. If y'all are getting frustrated with X or Twitter or whatever you're calling it, I've moved over to Blue Sky, and so have a fair few of the battlers. Premier Battle has got over. I don't know about Don't Flop yet, but if you want to take the dive, here's what I would suggest. Follow Gas Buff. He set up a thing where you can just press it once and you follow everyone that's linked to battle rap. Because Gas is a fucking genius. So I'll be promoting my stuff across multiple platforms going forward, because I'm trying to reach out to everyone. Here's the thing with me at this point, and I touched on this at the top, and this is why we're sitting here right now, right? I want to focus on the good and the fun of battle rap, and part of that is making sure it's put in the hands of people that have fun at battle rap events and have fun watching battle rap cards. So if y'all have more ideas about how I can do that, because one of the things that we were talking about while I was on site today was reacting to maybe different American battles, having battlers on, but having the face-offs, or maybe not the face-offs, but doing something else. Man, I'm open to any of the ideas, man. Anything that you guys would think would be fun within a battle rapping context that you think would be helpful, or that would be just fun to do in lieu of previewing cards and stuff, let me know, man. I'd be so for it. I suppose, further to Ryan's question, is there anyone that you think I should be pursuing for an interview right now? Is there anyone that you... Because I don't know if you noticed, this in anticipation of this card, I've been on a fucking tear with interviews. We had Liam Smith, aka Annotate. That one drops on Monday. We had Harry J. Robinson, formerly Heretic. We had 9-2, Rick Charles, Kingsley Thunder. I feel like I'm forgetting someone as well. Who am I forgetting? Hang on. But yeah, Joy France. Joy France is one that I'm so glad you reminded me, Ryan. I'm so glad. Right, follow. The profile picture's her giving the bird. Oh God, delightful. I can't wait to see that shit. That's going to be great. I hope she's game. She seems like she'll be a lovely interview. But yeah, no. Are there any questions? Does anyone want me to interview anybody? Is there anyone that you want to know how they did on the event that I didn't mention or didn't mention enough? Any of the questions about the event itself? Any events that you're excited about for next year that you're aware of? Or are you going to Short Circuit? I think it's Short Circuit 8, which is in December. I think it's December the 8th, I think. In which case, which battles are you looking forward to there? Come on. Let's use this time. I'm probably going to wrap up in about 10 minutes. So this is your time now. Tell me what you want to talk about. Tell me what you want to hear. I don't know. I mean, from the top, again, I want to come back to the thing at the top. I want to be clear before something's taken out of context. The Shotty horror conversation was literally me just to try and get my point across that I'm not actually a dickhead most of the time. Again, I don't expect anything to come from that conversation. I want to be clear on that. However, from my perspective, it was great to kind of shut up and let him talk. He held the conversation, and it was just great to just sort of, right, just tell me what's on your mind. And I listened. I will try to observe what he said. And from my perspective, I found it very productive. But to quell any concerns, I don't think you're going to see him interviewing me anytime. Sorry, with an interview, because I understand. I think he's got his own podcast now, so I don't know why he'd give away content at this point for another podcast. Not to say I wouldn't like having him on, but I just want to temper expectations on that. I don't know if I can really promise that that's going to happen. Raptor, on the other hand, pretty sure we can make that happen. Carlton Shanks, I'll reach out to him shortly. Hamill and Jim Bob Gnarly, hopefully we can get both of those on, and that's just from this card. And then Bobby Rex, we'll see with time. Hopefully we can find an opportunity to get him on. And yeah, that's about it, really. I can't really think of anything else that's worth talking about. I mean, I complained a little bit about Checkpoint 5 from the perspective of the event, the kind of the what do you call it? The fucking venue for the event. At 33 Oldham Street is the perfect battle rap venue. It's perfect. It's exactly what you need. The only thing you'd need to make it 100% perfect, it's almost perfect. The only thing you want to change is that on the entrance to the main floor, so there's 3 floors. Middle floor, or bottom floor is the bar. Middle floor is where the battles took place, and you got the top floor. Top floor is where the toilets and where there's like a wind down area where there's pool and all the rest of that sort of shit. On that middle floor, there is a door that separates the sound room from the rest of the bar. But the problem is every time anyone walks in, it lets the sound from the bar in downstairs, which was really disconcerting for one of the battles. I want to say, in fact, it might have been Jim Bob Gnarly's stumble was in part contributed to that, because the door, someone just kept on opening the door, and then there was also, I will also report, there was some during Bobby Rex's first, yes it was literally, he was opening his first round, and I don't see who it was, but there was someone in the crowd making like they just weren't shutting up, like they were having a conversation or something. And look, crowds are going to talk, like, you know, they're going to turn to each other and have a little natter, but there seemed to be this ongoing conversation. And even when, you know, Shotty has to tell you to shut the fuck up, it's not great, man. Like, if you come to a battle rap event, when the battlers start, it's fine to clap and it's fine to, but let the battlers battle, man. Like, I'll never forget talking to Marlo at my first ever event. I was in the midst of having a really good conversation, I felt, with Marlo, and he's like, no, the battles are starting. And they all scurried away to get to the battle, because that's the focus of the fucking event, guys. Like, have the conversations between or have them after. But fucking let the battlers battle, man. And Bobby recovered on this occasion. But that's the only thing I would say that event needs. It needs that sort of 2-door system. So 1 door on the outside, 1 door on the inside to really make sure that the sound from the bar doesn't interrupt anything else. But it's a great venue for battle rap. Getting in was a fucking doddle. I parked 2 minutes down the road in a fucking open car parking spot opposite to the way that traffic was flowing. So I got out like that. I got in like that. Manchester is such an easy city to drive around compared to London. So one thing, I'll touch on this quickly as well, because the talk at the moment is that London is where battle rap is popping off. That's where the crowds are. That's where, if you're going to sell tickets, that's where you want to aim to sell tickets. And that's probably why the south side of Premier Battles has got the focus at the moment to a large degree with the Plug series. Here's the thing I would say to battle rap fans of the world. I get Manchester isn't on your doorstep. It isn't on mine. It's a considerable distance from my house to Manchester to make in a day. I will counter with this. It is so much less stressful when you get to Manchester. It is so much more accessible in terms of just getting in and out of a bar, restaurant, pub, parking, whatever the fuck you need in and out of most of the venues that Premier Battles have selected for Manchester. Most of the battlers are local to Manchester, so if they're not on the card, they're liable to be there. So if you're a fan of one of the battlers and you're half hoping that they're going to be there, especially someone like a Shotty or a Briggsy or a Stro or a Bizzo was there. Didn't get a chance to say hello to Bizzo today, which was a shame, but he was on the stage, and again, tried not to go on the stage because that's where the battlers are. But like, if you're a battle rap fan like me, and part of the exhilaration of being at an event is being around the guys and being like, I'm a fan of you, and it's just kind of crazy to be in the same room and having a conversation with you, then consider buying a ticket to Manchester. I get it. It's a trip. Like, if you don't drive, it's a pain in the ass hopping on the train and da-da-da-da-da. But I promise you, being at an event live is so much fun. And in London at the moment, I'm not being funny, driving around London for Checkpoint 5 was one of the most stressful fucking things ever. It fucking sucks. Getting something to eat in London fucking sucks because it's stupid expensive and there's nowhere to get anything, despite it being a conglomerated cosmopolitan area. Manchester, on the other hand, even though it's full of Mancs who support United and City, I can't stand that. As a fucking Arsenal fan, I can't stand being surrounded by United and City fans. There's something about it that my 7-year-old football supporting, Man United hating self fucking despises. However, the fact remains, when I go to an event at Premier Battles and it's in Manchester, I have an inherently much less stressful day and a much more fun time, and I see more of the guys there. I'm imploring you, the next time you consider going to a battle rap event and you're thinking about it because it's in Manchester, just go. Just go. It's great fun. The ticket for this was a tenner. It cost me more in fuel to get there, and even then it cost me 50 quid. Like, and that's, I've done 2 events this year. I'll probably do another 2 events next year. Maybe, it depends. Like, it depends if job and all the rest of the sort of stuff. Just go, man. Just go. Get the Patreon, of course. But do the Manchester events. Okay? I know London's where it's popping off because you think it's closer or it's going to be more packed or whatever. Nah. The Manchester events are so much nicer and more fun because of the experience of the day. I promise you. Give the Manchester events a shot. Let's go back to the comments for a second. Had a shrooms. Can't wait for them to drop. Yeah, me too. Been around since day one. Good for you, brother. I'm in there now. Ryan Cooper is also a good shout for an interview. We'll see. Cooper was obviously on the other day. And he did his live stream, his live spaces, I should say. And he seemed to have fun with that. And I've encouraged him to do more of those or to start his own podcast. I don't care which it is, because I thought he was a great host. I felt like he had a great cadence, great eye for comedy, but good timing, was able to move the conversation on, endears himself well. Listen, if I want to see anyone do anything after this, I want to see Cooper do more live spaces and host those, like in tandem with Gast, because Gast does his own thing as well, but I love both of them for doing what they're doing. Or I hope he starts his own podcast, man. So either one of those things. maybe an interview. I mean, I'll message him, see what he'd be up for. I don't know how much he would want to be screwed. So I will say this, okay, and this is kind of a takeoff of the Shotty conversation. Here's something I've gleaned, okay, and this is what I'll probably wrap on, unless there's more questions. How do I put this? I don't want to, again, I will leave my conversation, what was said to me and him. What I will say is that I feel like battle rap is always going to be something that I have to be on the outside of, if that makes sense. Who and what I am isn't understood by people in battle rap ubiquitously. There are people that get me. They understand what I'm about, who I am, how I think, where I come from, all that good jazz, right? And those are the guys that end up being my mates. They're the ones that end up being my friends who have got my fucking phone number, who I'll message on Christmas Day to say, hey, hope you have a good Christmas, right? And then there's others that think that I'm a peculiarity. And as a result, I will always be a little bit on the outside of what they think I should be doing. The reason I bring that up with Cooper is because Cooper, in his element, loves it. He loves battle rap. But he also loves battle rap in a different way to me. If you'd seen him reacting to some of the stuff today, he was giving the biggest reactions to 9-2 and Rick Charles. He was giving some of the bigger reactions to Kingsley Thunder and Carlton, and just a different animal in terms of their affectations towards battle rap. I'm different from a lot of people as well I will share one thing that Shotty said to me that I didn't have time to properly address in the moment. I said, I want battle rap to be mainstream in the sense of I want guys to get their due. And he said, well, who are you to say what battle rap should be? And that came from a place of, like, we don't trust that you mean well, I guess is what I'm driving at. And that's fair, because I do things differently. I don't have the same outlook on battle rap as most people, and here's why I think that's important. I have a different outlook than Cammy does. Cammy has a different outlook than Crash. Crash has a different outlook than TMR. TMR has a different outlook than Prem does. Prem has a different look on Don't Flop. Don't Flop has a different on No Lose Chat, and it goes on and on and on, right? What I want to help contribute towards is just having something a little different in battle rap, okay? I want to do fun interviews that are a little bit more on the intellectual side and dive into the guys. I want to showcase the guys. I also want to do these sorts of things because it was a lot of fun today. It was a lot of fun today being at the event. And again, having these little moments that I get to carry forward as a fan, right? But that's me. That's what I'll do. And maybe that doesn't translate to every battler. And maybe one of the things that I made the mistake of assuming when I started this sort of segment of my YouTube channel, these interviews, was that every battler would fit my formatting, would be subject to my questions in a way that I thought would be interesting and endearing. And I'm inclined to review that now to say, in the case of a Cooper, I don't know how well I don't know how well he would stand up to an interview, because I don't know if he'd find it fun. And I think Cooper is all about having fun in battle rap. I wonder about a Bobby Rex too. If I'm being completely candid with you, I'd love to get into the weeds with Bobby Rex. I don't know how that would go though, because I would be asking some fairly intricate questions that can be quite personable at times. And some battlers are naturally a bit like, why do you want to know? Like, so here's the thing. Yeah, and this is it, Ryan. This is why I'm saying that I don't want to get my back up now when someone says no. Because I just want to focus on covering the events, because I can do that independently of the battlers and the promotions. I think I can do that. I want to focus on the reactions, because I think they're fun. They're just harmless. You're just watching a battle. And if the battlers have something to say, or they take issue with what I've said, or they want to come on, like Gas did. Gas did a great job the other day, because I was watching a battle and he hopped on for 10 minutes afterwards just to do his brief summary of that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I think we can all have fun with that. And then the interviews, well, the interviews are there for people that you want to know more about, that are open to the prospect. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to beat anyone over the head with it. The offer's there. And it was lovely, actually. A few of the battlers saying that they'd come on the show. There's a few that we're just trying to work out dates now. In the case of a Shotty horror, okay, and this is how we'll end. That's maybe one where I would love to do the interview. I don't know how well that translates, though, because I would interview him in a way that maybe doesn't go over well. The only thing I would maybe put counter to all of that, and what I would say to people that see this now and think, look, I do your show, but I'm just not sure about you as a person, okay? The counter to that I would put is lunacy. I never thought I'd ever talk to lunacy. Like, on a personal level, we did not get off on a great start, and it seemed like for the longest time we weren't going to stay on a good foot, right? Or we were going to stay on a bad foot. And then we finally got to talking, got better, and then we did an interview, and I've got to be honest, man, he fucking killed that interview. I was not expecting an interview of that quality from someone like Lunacy, because I thought he would be that guarded, sort of, maybe, you know, deflective sort of thing because of our history, and yet he gave a personable, personalized, in-depth, thoughtful, and really interesting interview that watching it back when editing, I was just like, I fucking love this interview so fucking much. And that's the kind of interview I want to have with a lot of the guys. It's just whether or not they'd be open to that. And that's the question I need to stop pushing to people. I need to be accepting of the fact that not everyone's up for that. Take this card, for example. Maybe Raptor wouldn't stand up to that. I don't know. Sean has been on. You'd have to ask Sean how he got on. Gas has been on, and he seemed to have a good... We ended up talking for 2.5 fucking hours. Jesus Christ. Kingsley was on very, very recently. He seemed to have fun. And Dub T's been on a couple of times. I mean, fuck, we hosted a podcast together at one point. It was 1 episode long, but still. But yeah, so to come back to the point, listen, the greatest indicator of whether or not someone will be on my show is if you all push for it. If you watch this and ping someone and say, hey, I think you should do this guy's show, maybe they'll do it. I will be pursuing my own interviews, and of course I will see, again, this is the thing I'll throw out to everyone now. If there's battlers that watch this that want to come on the show, don't fucking hesitate, man. DM me. Let me know when you want to come on and what you want to talk about. In my view, this is as much your platform as it is mine. I'd love to host you, and so long as you know that I tend to ask the occasional wordy question, then we'll get along just fine. There was one other thing I was going to talk about, but I'll leave that for another day. But for now, what I will say is that this event is in the books. You guys, you'll be annoyed that you missed it. When you see it on the Patreon, you'll know why. It was great fun, fantastic event. It was great seeing Ryan. It was great seeing 62 Mike. It was great seeing all of the battlers. It was great seeing, again, Shotty, Briggsy, Stro, a lot of the guys from the behind the scenes element. Rick as well, actually. Rick was a great sport throughout the whole day. I think a few people were disappointed he didn't turn up in a Pink Ranger outfit. Personally, I was relieved because I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite so scary in my entire life than a man dressed in a Pink Ranger outfit with glasses over the outfit. Like, there's something inherently terrifying about that. So I was secretly relieved he didn't turn up in that. Congratulations to Premier Battles for putting on an amazing event. I really hope that they stick the landing of the year with Short Circuit in a few weeks when that is due to take place. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the event. I hope you enjoy the Patreon drops when they rock up. I hope you enjoy the YouTube releases. But I will also say, since I've got your attention, I hope you'll tune in for the live streams that I'll be doing on a weekly basis going forward. I hope you'll tune into the interviews when they happen. And I sincerely hope that you'll help me by maybe dropping a message every now and then, or maybe tweeting out something to say, hey, Halcyon Show, you should go and do his show. You have no idea how much it helps. There's only so much I can do by myself. And again, I want to make these interviews happen on a more frequent basis. I'd like to have some fun doing them. It'd be great to showcase battlers and the promotions as we go forwards. But I leave that to you guys as to what you want to see. But since there aren't any questions, and Ryan has very aptly told me to lock in the Joy France interview, which I will do, I will speak to Cooper and see if he wants to do an interview at one point, or maybe he's just keen to do maybe another reaction video. We'll see. Stay tuned for the reactions, because one of the things I'm going to be pushing to do is get some of the battlers on to do live reactions with me. So that'll be a different dimension to those reactions if you don't like me just reacting to them, which I totally understand. When we do special guests, I'll signpost that on the title, so you can tune in for that. Otherwise, man, that'll about do it. So yeah, since there's no questions, I'll leave you guys to your evening and say thank you very much for watching this edition of the Halcyon Show. That was the Premier Battles Undisclosed 13 wrap-up / review. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, go and like, share, and subscribe the Patreon, the Premier Battles YouTube channel. Go and sign up to the Patreon. Go and get your free ticket to fucking Short Circuit 8. Make sure you're supporting the battlers on that card, including Mr. David Williamson. It's David. I know it's David. I get mixed up though. Hang on, bear with me. I'm definitely gonna give him, because he was worried that he wasn't getting enough props from me. He DM'd me to say, "You bastard, shout me out." He didn't really. I'm just joking. But hang on, where is he? There he is. Hang on. Oh, he's changed his name to DW Wheelchair versus Anki Dams on Short Circuit 8, December 7th. Sorry. At the Irish Ego. There you go. Go and support him. Go and support David. It's his debut battle. Go and support him. I'll try and have him on the show. We'll interview David at some point. He's only round the corner from me as well, I'm given to understand. So maybe we could do the first live interview. Who knows? But yeah, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you joining me for this wrap up. I sincerely hope you all, if you travel to Manchester today, I hope you get home safe. I hope you enjoyed the event. To Premier Battles themselves, thank you very much for hosting a wonderful event. To Shotty Horror, not that he'll ever see this, but to Shotty Horror, I appreciate the 10 minutes that you set aside to have a conversation with me. You didn't need to do that, and I found the conversation very productive. And if you do ever want to, as Raptor suggested, just come on and call me a hater to my face on the stream. Sure, I'll host that. I'd rather ask you some questions, but content's content, right? Can you imagine if that's how I got Shotty Horror on the show? Is like, yeah, I just promised to, all I'll do is hit the record button and then you just get to cuss me out and I won't say a word in return. I mean, there's worse content ideas. I'll put it that way. But let's just quickly run through who was watching today, because I want to say thanks. So, TMR, thank you for stopping by. Sorry I couldn't give you. I don't really have a link for these at the moment. I'm gonna look into moving the live streaming platform over to what TMR uses, because TMR's looks so much more fluid and so much easier to use. So TMR. I might need to get the link from you, if unless it's the one that Kinnell suggested. I forget what it's called. But yeah, TMR, thanks for stopping by. 62 Mike, it was good to meet you today, my friend. And I will be sure to check out your live streaming as we go. Let's also go down the list to Hadda Shrooms. You have a great evening, whatever you get up to, my friend. And then finally, Ryan, UK Battle Rap's biggest fan. And the nicest, just the nicest guy as well in real life as well. Top man. So, Ryan, and everybody else watching now, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Go and check out the Premier Battles Patreon to check out some of these drops if they've dropped in the interim period. Go and subscribe to their channel. Go and check out Short Circuit. But most importantly, before you do any of those other things, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Halcyon Show. I'm going to go make some tacos now. So, yeah, take good care of yourselves. And I'll see you on Tuesday for the next live stream. We'll do a live stream on Tuesday. It's Dojo versus Hulk. So stay tuned. I'll see you then. Peace.